Dr. Christopher Sands, a Michigan native who now works at a think tank in Washington, D.C., the Heritage Institute, recently wrote that if Al-Qaeda had really wanted to disrupt the U.S. economy, they would have found a way to bring down the Ambassador Bridge instead of the World Trade Center. That's how important this fragile connection is to the state of Michigan and to the economy of the North American Industrial Heartland. Thankfully, Al-Qaeda wasn't clever enough to target the bridge. Frankly, though, it's not a terrorist act that should be our greatest concern. You all recall that a bridge over the Mississippi River at Minneapolis fell into the river just 4 years ago. Exactly 1 year ago, a bridge crossing the Ohio River from Louisville to southeastern Indiana was found to have catastrophic cracks. It was closed for more than 6 months for repair. Now at Louisville, fortunately, there are other truck-bearing bridges. They had enormous congestion for 6 months, but they managed. At Detroit, there aren't any other options. Trucks would have to go 60 miles north of Port Huron and 60 miles back on the other side. But given that the blue water bridges are essentially at capacity, they carry 16% of all U.S.-Canada trade. Trucks would in fact likely have to go 350 miles east to Buffalo and 350 miles back on the other side. These are not realistic options for Detroit 3, among others, the Detroit automotive parts manufacturers in southeast Michigan, like TRW, which is a big supporter of the new bridge. Chrysler makes more than 400,000 crossings of the Ambassador Bridge every year, 1,200 every day. Ford makes 600 crossings every day. GM makes several hundred as well. These companies operate on a just-in-time delivery basis, 4 hours in the case of Chrysler. Going 350 miles one way and 350 miles the other way would mean that the model simply could no longer function. By the way, the Sherman-Minton Bridge, the one that failed at Louisville, is 30 years newer than the Ambassador Bridge. The whole point of the international trade crossing is that it will provide certainty, at minimum, to every company operating in southeast Michigan or southwestern Ontario, that there will be reliable transportation capacity at this critical piece of geography for 125 years into the future. Without certainty about critical inputs, and transportation is one of those, businesses will expand. In time, they move away. There's absolutely no reason for Michigan to take that risk. While it's not something Canada has done before, thank you for your comments, Representative Walsh, about our patience. We're eternally patient. We've come fully to understand as a jurisdiction one reality. If Michigan had to pay anything for this bridge, the project would simply be a non-starter from the get-go. And so the government of Canada stepped up. We said to ourselves, this is critically important. From our point of view, it is not sound or prudent public policy for governments simply to cross our fingers and hope for the Ambassador Bridge's eternal life. It's 83 years old, and it dates from an era when bridges were built to last 50 years. So, in the agreement between Canada and Michigan, announced in June 2015, it is made absolutely and perfectly clear that Canada assumes full responsibility for the project. The state of Michigan bears absolutely no liability. That's not what the Ambassador Bridge's more than $15 million worth of television advertising so far tell you, but it's the truth. You should believe nothing that is said in those television ads. Indeed, I don't know why anyone would believe anything that those people say. The actual span will cost $1 billion, and Representative Walsh has described the components of it well. It may cost less. All of it will be paid for by a private sector company that wins the bid to develop the project. And indeed, he's right, the Ambassador Bridge Company is one of the few in the world that would be a logical contender to actually bid on the project. The company will be reimbursed from toll revenues over the first 25 years or so of the NITC's operation. If the bridge span costs more than expected, the company is responsible. Canada, however, agrees to backstop to guarantee the company's investment. So effectively, it's the Canadian taxpayers who are on the hook if there were to be cost overruns. And if toll revenues are less than expected, Likewise, it's the Canadian taxpayers who are on the hook. The June 15th agreement makes clear that Canada, not Michigan, funds the cost of building the interchange to I-75 on the U.S. side. We don't flow that money into Michigan's books. If we were to do so, Michigan would have to sign contracts, make payments, and implicitly would assume liability. So we will flow it to the builder of the span, and they also build the interchange. In fact, for none of the construction, for anything with regard to this project, will Michigan sign any contract. Canada will, meaning in legal terms, clearly, Canada will be liable and not Michigan. After the builder of the span is paid back for its investment by year 25 or 30, Canada gets paid back the full $550 million that we will spend for the interchange on the U.S. side. That will come from toll revenues, and it will come with interest. We think that this is a sound investment. That should take us to year 45 or 50. Again, the bridge is built to last 125 years. We're confident of being paid back fully. We're in pretty sound fiscal shape as a country. We didn't get to that position by making dumb financial decisions. We think this is a very sound investment. But if we're wrong, it's on us, not on you. I said earlier already, the bridge is built to last 125 years. Once the builder and Canada are paid back by year 45 or 50, Governor Snyder has negotiated a deal whereby Michigan will receive half of all of the revenues generated by the bridge. So for about 75 years, from year 45 or 50 through year 125, Michigan taxpayers will enjoy a revenue stream of approximately $50 million per year. That's in today's dollars. It will inflate nominally with inflation over time. That adds to $3.75 billion just for Michigan. That's Michigan's half. That's for free. No money down, no liability, no risk. Somehow those facts are overlooked by the television. Instead of mocking and assailing your governor, as those violent and offensive television ads do, Michiganders might want to run ads congratulating him on being such a powerful negotiator for Michigan's interests. I can say that. I was on the other side of the table. Winning for Michigan is something he's truly relentless about.